All right, everybody. It's an unhappy Valentine's Day. Or is it a happy Valentine's Day? Or doesn't it make a difference to you? Welcome to hashtag For the Health of It with me, Ronald Abaji. Today is all about love. But the key question that we always look at is love good for you? So if you want to know more about love, about connection with self and others, then this session is for you. Up later, I have an amazing guest coming in. A friend, a leader in business, an entrepreneur, a coach, and so much more. That her passion and her journey has brought her to a point of giving back in a way that is all about connection. And it's rather interesting coming up a bit later. But when I look at Valentine's Day, how do you feel about it? What are your feelings? Do you feel that it's as though it's an unhappy Valentine's Day? Or is it a day that is actually filled with such happiness for you that you can't even contain yourself? But before I get there, I talk about love is good for your health. And yes, it is. Because when we look at the published author of the book Positivity, her name is Barbara Fredrickson. And she piqued one of my interests in positive psychology with that book Positivity. And one of the many interesting aspects of this book in Barbara's conception of love is based on brain activity research. Did you get that? Her perception of what you feel in your heart is linked to brain activity research, and she defines it as micro moments of connection between people. Because when you share positive emotions with others, you experience positivity in the highest form of positive resonance. Your brain activity syncs up with that of another person, which leads to mutual motivation to invest in each other's well-being. These micro moments of connection can happen between two people who hardly know each other. Having a brief conversation with someone while waiting in line will increase your concern for that person. Now, this is all according to Barbara in her book. Now, micro moments of connection are important for your health because your brain registers the emotion of love. The hormone oxytocin is released when it does register it. And oxytocin reduces levels of stress hormone in your body, lowers your blood pressure, and reduces inflammation, which can lead to heart failure, stroke, and diabetes. So before you smack me through the screen, you could say to myself, Ron, or you could say to me, Ron, what are you talking about, dude? You know, there are times where love makes you feel great and good and releases oxytocin, and there's times where it's about fight or flight, man, because you're so upset, okay? But the reality is this, and the question I would like to pose to you is, not a reality, the question rather is it in your best interest to expand the amount of love in your life? And on that note, I would welcome friend, entrepreneur, executive partner. She is an absolute amazing writer. Crossing fingers, she'll publish a book soon. She's a coach as well, and has got her own business called Intimacy, and as well as being part of the HLC and My Health 360 family. Her name is Yolandi Groenewald, and I've literally hijacked her on this topic because she's camera shy. I don't know why, but she's camera shy. So without further ado, I say to Yolandi Groenewald, welcome to hashtag For the Health of It.
Thank you, Ronald, and thank you for inviting me, or shall I say hijacking me for this session today, understanding just how camera shy I am. No idea how nervous I am actually sitting here.
Wow, you're going to be great, man, especially with this topic. Yolandi, I ended off the intro segment asking, is it in your best interest to expand the amount of love in your life?
I think that is a very relevant question, and I think it should start with self. We tend to always, when we use the word love, look externally instead of internally. And we want to be loved by people around us instead of actually giving love. So I think what is imperative is for individuals to understand, or for people or listeners or our community to know, that if you don't start with self, loving self, it's really difficult to give what you don't know. And for you to be able to actually expand on that, I think it's imperative. Start with self. And I think once you love yourself, it becomes so much easier to just give that love to the people around you.
Oh, wow, Yolandi, thank you so much for that. Now, when we look at Valentine's Day, Yolandi, there are many who are going to restaurants tonight with partners, partners of old, partners of new, partners that they're going to meet for the first time. And that's great. But on the other hand, there are people who are not going to dinner with partners tonight. And what have you noticed in your experience this day and in your reflections that today is really about?
We all walk a path, and we all have our own journeys. And just given my own journey, I was married for 21 years, and unfortunately, the relationship ended. And this morning, I woke up thinking about the fact that this is the month of love, and not having a partner in my life currently. What does that mean? And then you're lying awake, and I was lying awake contemplating this word, love and absence of love is what came to mind. And if you guys would bear with me, I would love for you to maybe just, if I can read what was a reality for me this morning. Sorry, I didn't open it, so let me quickly find it. And if you will just listen to how I was thinking about love this morning and sharing it with the audience. So we reach out with anticipation, hoping, searching for that experience of being loved by another. Life offers just that igniting, lightning bolt moment. We reach a plane of ultimate joy, elevated by feelings that flow freely, turning you into an overnight poet and philosopher of life, because that's exactly what love tends to do, those feelings. The connection is so strong, the feeling so real. You're left struck with amazement as you breathe in the possibility of a life lived, loved. The feelings of bliss turn into feelings of abandonment, of hurt and betrayal. You question life, you shout and scream in your pillow as you feel suffocated by the absence of that love. The pain flowing like a river after a storm, distraction and change of memories. It takes time to heal, to realize that the absence of another is not the absence of love. Love of self is a state of being. It lifts you into a plane of ultimate peace, not waiting to be loved, believing that you will only be complete when loved by another. Instead, love of self is wholeness, creating a complete individual, emanating energy and richness that permeates the essence of time. So may that be a message for any person out there that doesn't have a partner tonight, to realize that it's not a love of another that makes you whole, but it's the love of self.
Oh, wow. I love that. The insights of the writing from the heart and the soul, from the depths of the twilight hour and that darkness, the light shines through of inspiration for these things. Yolandi, as you went through that piece that you wrote, and thank you so much for sharing that with us as you bring in, the reflection and the insight. You said in there, and a couple of highlights, you said, as you breathe in the possibility of a life lived, loved. Does that speak to the fact, and here's the thing, Yolandi, are we caught in the dream of love in our heads, or the story we tell ourselves? Because more often than not that's what we fall in love with. The idea of, does a person match up to these thoughts and this dream that I built up? And often the reality is a little bit different.
Absolutely. I think for me, the realization was the dream versus the reality. I don't think there's anything wrong with having a beautiful idea of what love should entail. And I think each of us define, and it's imperative that you define that word love for yourself. What does love look like to you in a realistic format? I think a lot of times you get into a relationship, you have got expectations, and you think that once you walk in or get into that relationship, the person, you can change them, they're going to change. Reality is, if you cannot accept the person completely for who they are when you enter into a relating or a relationship, it is not a relationship you should be in. And love is unconditional, is my belief. I think when you're a mother and you have a child, that's a time in your life when you really experience what unconditional love means. And there's different kinds of love. There's a partner love, and there's a child love, and there's a friend love. And I think it's important for you to define what that word love means to you. So I am living a life lived. I am living a life loved. I think because I went in thinking it will be a partner that gives me that feeling of love. It's the realization that I am actually living a life loved. Oh my gosh, there goes my tongue.
A life lived, loved. That's one of those tongue twisters. I know Jessie loves those tongue twisters. What did she say it was? No, not she shall see salt on the seashore. One of the other ones. I was like, yo, my ADHD brain doesn't resonate with such. Yolandi, the next one that you said, and I'm going to show this over here, right, is that you said that in one of the lines that just really resonated. You feel suffocated by the absence of that love. You feel suffocated by the absence of that love. When you look at that, that speaks to pain. That speaks to, I mean, it's not there anymore. It speaks to a whole bunch of emotions that we tend not to associate with what we want to experience when we do experience love.
So if you've been in a long-term relationship and suddenly you find yourself on your own, there is this massive gap and hole in your life. And it's literally, it feels like you cannot breathe. And it's a time where you have to work through those emotions and feelings. And it's not easy. It is suffocating. It does feel suffocating. But the beauty of it, time is such a wonderful healer. And I know people say that, and it sounds, like really, but it is. I mean, it's been 6 years where I've been on my own. I was with my ex-partner for 23 years, and I thought it was the love of my life. And life happened, and suddenly I was faced with not having that in my life anymore. And it did feel suffocating. But you either remain in that space. I have a friend that says, you get into a dark hole, and that's okay as long as you don't decorate it. So for me, it's like I get into the hole, but I definitely get out as well. I don't stay there and decorate it.
Oh man, I love that. Thank you for sharing again, as always. Ilandi, when we look at other things as well that you spoke about, you mentioned that when we look at it, it takes time to heal and realize that the absence of another is not the absence of love. And we often say to ourselves, when time is ticking, and we put pressure onto ourselves, society puts pressure onto us. What is the insight when you say it takes time to heal? Because the one thing that many people love in relationships or in the romantic context of love is rebound. I've rebounded. I found something else, and you fall into that narrative. But what does this line mean to you?
Rebound. Oh my word. Yeah, that is something that absolutely resonates. You walk out of a relationship and immediately you feel like you need to meet someone else, and you need to just make yourself feel complete. And then as you go down this journey, you start realizing that no one else can make you feel complete. And the only time that you get to that point is when you allow yourself the space to heal. And unfortunately, that is over time. It's not overnight. It's not like a little tap you just close. Today you love, and tomorrow you close that tap and you're perfectly fine, because you're not. You need to resonate. You need to sit with those feelings. You need to experience those feelings. You need to allow yourself to go through those feelings in order for time to play its role and help you heal.
Wow, and it's not easy. That's not an easy thing. As we get caught into what Yolandi said in the first part of her prose over there, was a matter of the story, the dream, the idea. So we tend to rely on that as our fuel. But you are the base, and the fuel is there as well. But it's what you choose to do with that fuel, and what fuel you choose to use. Yolandi, your last line that absolutely resonated with me was, love of self is a state of being. It lifts you into a plane of ultimate peace. So when you say that love of self is a state of being, what does that mean?
It means every day you wake up and you look in the mirror, and the person that looks back at you, you adore and you love, and you exude that in every fiber of your being. And that is where I am. It's absolutely love of self.
Wow, love of self. And takes you to a plane of peace. And Landi, on a day like today, Yolandi, does Valentine's Day take you into an unhappy place, a happy place, or just it's a neutral space for you?
For me, it's a neutral space. I'm all about opportunity, so you never know what today may hold. And every day is an opportunity to either love self more, or to be experienced or exposed to other people that can give you love. I'm blessed to have wonderful friends and family, wonderful colleagues, and the love that I experience is not limited to a partner. It is absolutely flowing through all of the people and the energies in my space.
Oh, fantastic. Yolandi, what is the message you have for people today? Both those that are with their partners, how do they enhance that connection with them? Because I think it's a lot more than just a dinner, right?
Absolutely. I think we tend to forget what intimacy means. I've Part of my journey is starting a business called Intimacy. And intimacy is about creating that connection again between you and your partner. Connection is not just Valentine's Day. Connection is little actions every day where you ask your partner how they feel, where you show gratitude, where you actually spend time sharing daily experiences. I think we get so busy with daily lives that we forget to appreciate the person in our lives, whether it's our children, whether it's our partners, whether it is our family, whether it's our friends or colleagues. It's imperative that you show them gratitude and appreciation in order for the love to grow.
Oh, I think it's fantastic. And this is the business that Yolandi was talking about, everybody. Intimacy, it's there. Yes, that's how you spell it. It's about awakening your sensuality. And if you want more info, here's a web and a URL you got to go and check out. Now, in that is that Yolandi and her partner, Catherine, had developed products, for sensual intimacy, right? And also the key thing that they developed is a board game. A board game! So check out Intimacy, intimacy.com. And here's the thing, is that I'm talking to Yolanda today because she's taken a journey that you've gone on. And I always speak in my Health 360, the community wisdom is a lot more important at times for us to take action than for our well-being than it is for the theory and that kind of knowledge and wisdom to kick in. When you marry the two together, you sit with a powerhouse of giving you the practical journey walked and the theoretical journey that justified that walk. It's basically like having a GPS, but also having the right shoes and transportation to get onto that GPS, right? And Yolandi has invested into this as an entrepreneur. She has developed it from scratch with a partner. And there are so many available, beautiful services and products for you if you really want to develop that intimacy with self and, of course, connect with your partner on a level second to none. Yolandi, thank you for joining us today. I feel blessed. I feel honored. I feel a lot more insightful with regards to what this actually means. And from you writing it down, it comes from your heart and your soul. So we extend immense gratitude for you for sharing today. Everyone, remember, awakeintimacy.com. That's where you got to go.
Thank you, Ronald. Thank you for inviting me.
All right, everyone. Yeah, let everyone have an amazing day. Whether it is a happy or an unhappy Valentine's Day, it makes no difference. Let today be filled with love.
May Cupid find you.
Yeah, man. If you want to know how, I heard a rumor. Cupid is chasing and following all those and finding those who squeeze in a My Health 360 workout today. So check out myhealth360.co.za.
Love your body. I like that. That's a good love, Ronald.
All right, everyone. Stay fit, stay healthy. Catch you later.